Simon, are you expecting this to be a fly-in, fly-out mission to Sydney?
Everything that we've heard so far is a fly-in, fly-out. I've packed with carry-on, so my expectations are that it's a fly-in, fly-out situation. So if it's any longer than that, I'll be stuck with the same pair of shorts. So I'm hopeful.
That's a brave move, Simon, considering what happened last year.
Yeah, it is. And it's just going from the information that we're getting. I think our worst case scenario that would be a touch longer, but all the indications for us is that we'll be coming home, we'll go in, we'll play, we'll come home, and we'll prepare for the Queen's birthday post that. So that's why I've got some confidence in packing lightly.
Are you expecting that Queen's birthday clash to be played outside of Victoria?
At this indication, you'd think yes. I think the Big Freeze is one of those games that deserves fans to be at. It's a great occasion, it's a great game, and if we can play that game in front of fans or supporters of either team, I think that's a great thing for our game. So where that'll be, I don't know. I don't think anyone knows at this point, and I'm sure the powers to be are working through what that would look like. But we just want to play a game of footy in front of fans and supporters and put on a great show.
How many players are flying up with you today?
We've got 26 flying up with us, so we'll take all our emergencies with us. We've got to get through training today, but also, we've got a VFL training session on the Sunday. So that gives us time to get everyone back and back into getting some sort of game and training time.
Jack Viney flying up?
No, Jack's not. He won't be available till post the bye. He's still working through that foot issue and reloading the bone stress within his foot. So we're taking a really cautious approach with Jack, and he won't be available until that time. But he's jumping out of his skin. He's raring to go. He's back running and doing all the things that we know he's capable of doing.
Ed Langdon's a fair out, Simon. Who's put their hand up to replace him, and how's he going as well?
He's going well. He's obviously started his protocols, but we've got a few guys putting their hand up. Oscar Baker, Tom Sparrow, Cade Chandler. They're all guys that are going to travel with us and be available for selection. So as I said, we'll get through training tonight, work at our team and go from there.
So you're training at the SCG tonight, or what's the go?
No, we're training at Giant Stadium. So we'll stay at Homebush, train at Giant Stadium, and obviously play there against a really high quality opposition. They're in really good form. We're looking forward to the challenge again. It's going to be a really big game for us.
James Harms obviously had a pretty pivotal role last week on Libba. Brisbane's got another highly talented midfield. Do you expect him to have another shutdown role like he played last week?
Oh, he was sensational last week, Harmsy, but we're not a team that tags every week. We play a system. We understand defensively how we want to play. So we'll assess what that looks like this week. We've done it a couple of times this year. Last week we did it with success. But we'll go into this game knowing that we've got a number of players to shut down and work out what's best for our team.
Sounds like Lockie Neely's back as well. If he gets through, how do you contain him?
Look, he's a pretty handy player. He's a Brownlow medalist. We expect him to come in. We expect him to contribute to their midfield. He's had a long time out of the game, so but we expect him to be at his best. That's what the champions do. They prepare themselves as best they can, and if they've got confidence to bring him in such a big game, I'm sure he's ready to go. So he'll add to their midfield depth. There's no question they've got a high quality midfield, and it generates them a lot of their forward half games. So he's a player we'll certainly have to watch, but they've got a number of guys who are in really good form.
You flagged in pre-season, Simon, that Tom McDonald could potentially play on a wing at stages this year. Do you potentially pull that lever this week with Ed Langdon going out, or is his form forward?
Yeah, the question about Tommy McDonald, look, we'll keep him forward. He's been in incredible form for us as a key forward, and really pivotal player for us. So we certainly won't tinker with that at this stage of the season. We'll just keep him in the position that he's in.
The Lions obviously going very nicely, won the 7 in a row. What's the biggest challenge that they present to you guys as a side?
They win contests. They win contests ahead of the ball. They win contests behind the ball. They're very well organised and they play a tough brand of footy. So they like to get that ball in their forward half and they put enormous pressure on. So in a lot of ways, we're similar in the way we play. So it's going to be a great game in terms of who gets on top to the midfield and who can generate that forward half game the best. So we're under no illusions what we're up against. They're in fantastic form. Any team that wins 7 in a row is doing a lot right, and we've got a lot of respect for them, but we're looking forward to the game.
On-field footy aside, Simon, the team and playing group has kind of had your COVID challenges last week, and obviously went through a fair bit last year for everyone. But what's it about the group how do you keep focused, and what is it about the playing group to, just deal with whatever comes and not make it a distraction?
Yeah, look, we've spoken a lot, this year around the maturity of the group, and, speaking to the players again this week, that's coming out. They're just happy to deal with what's ever placed in front of them. They understand the situation. They certainly understand what they went through last year and the learnings of that, but they also know that they're happy to play footy anywhere. And I think it really does help, obviously, with the position that we're in, to drive that motivation and drive that willingness to do whatever the game needs and prepare as best we can to play the best we can. So these are opportunities that will just bob up through the year, and we're just going to prepare as best we can. But the maturity of the group to handle these situations, outstanding. Clearly, the ones that have got families have got a few more questions than others about where it all sits, but that's understandable too, because we know family comes first in these types of situations.
And just on that, have any players expressed their concerns with families and not travelling, so to speak, at this stage?
No, not at all. No, we've got a really good welfare group, and Richo and Choco, they're really checking with our players around how they're feeling, and that's the key for us, is around the communication side of things, to see how those guys are feeling and where they're at. And we've had no players raise any concerns at this point.
Couple of new additions last night, Kai and Daniel. How do you integrate them in the second half of the season, and does it make it a bit awkward now with the protocols and stuff like that flying up straight away, that a lot of the boys won't be back here for them?
Yeah, it was, I had a good chat with them last night. I think, they're two guys that are really excited to be on our list, clearly. And, the first thing I said to them was, I'm going to jump on a plane, so I won't see you until Monday, or Sunday, sorry. So, it is a little bit different and unique. And obviously the VFL, where it sits in Victoria at the moment, it's a bit of a challenge for us, for our players, getting them, match time, and also, some sort of game simulations. So those two guys will transition into our program. They'll be tested. And once they clear their test, they'll come into our program and join that VFL program this weekend. And then obviously with the boys on the Monday. So we're looking forward to getting them in. I think it's always exciting when you get a couple of fresh players to your footy club that, they bring a different energy. But, there's no doubt Kai has played for Werribee and is ready to play AFL footy if his forms warrants it.
Did Mark Williams twist a few arms in there to get Kai over the line?
So what was that?
Sorry, did Mark Williams twist a few arms in there to get Kai over the line?
He's pretty persuasive, Choco. He's obviously coached Kai and has a high regard for his ability to play certain positions, but also his ability to develop. And I think that's what we wanted to get, is someone that had the habits that would drive an AFL career. And at 24, he's still got a lot of learning and growth in him. And, Choco was aware of that and thinks he's got some real good AFL qualities. Our recruiters continued to do the work in the last 12 weeks around Kai, and they've been incredibly impressed with what he's been able to produce for Werribee.